Hey, Max Leeds. Have you ever had a situation where your friend is in a difficult situation and you think that they need your help and you give them advice and they don't take it, come to find out later they got the same advice from somebody else and now all of a sudden they took it and you're like, that was the same thing I told you. Why didn't you take my advice? There's a very interesting reason for that. So think of a combination lock. In order to open it, you need to have a set of three numbers, sometimes more. But not only do you need those numbers, you need to actually know the correct sequence and timing in order for you to open that lock. Well, it's the same thing when people are giving advice. The problem that people run into is that they may have only one number right and all the other numbers are wrong. Or for some people, they may have all the numbers right, but they may have the wrong timing or the wrong sequence. When you're talking to an individual that's having some sort of difficulty seeing something in a way that you're seeing it, a lot of times they're in a particular emotional state. And what happens is that the stronger that state is, the more they're going to use logic and facts and observations to validate that state. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is trying to give advice to someone who is not in the proper state to receive it. So a great example would be, take a person who's in love with someone that you feel is like it's not a good fit for them. You know, you're on the outside looking in, you're seeing that this person has so many red flags, and you're trying to convince your friend why it's not a good idea to deal with this person. Now, what's the issue? Is the issue that they can't see the red flags? Well, they may see it, but if it doesn't support the emotional state that they're in at that time, then they're not going to do it. So the idea is that we have to focus on that state, because the state comes first and then the observations and everything come afterwards, and that is to only feed whatever state that they're in. So if you focus on changing that person's state first, then you have a better chance of them being more receptive to the advice that you're giving them. So the first step is identifying what their state is. Secondly would be, well, how do you identify what is the state that they should be in? Well, think of yourself. If you're the person on the outside looking in and you feel like you have the answer, or you feel like you have a great suggestion that will help, what is the state that you're in that you're able to apply that advice? So if you're in a resourceful state, or you're in a state as a person who's observing from the outside looking in, then that's the state that you want to get them in. Now, how you get them into that is a whole different conversation. But if you focus on changing that person's state first, then you can start to implement the advice that will help to feed the new state that they're in. So try that out, guys, and let me know how that works for you. And remember, you max your life.